I remember the silence. How the talking stopped when we first set foot on the plains of Yanxia. Before us stood yet another wall, and through a great Magitech field we glimpsed Doma Castle. I'll never forget the sight, or the anger I felt that day. Life, liberty, hope, so much lost, so much taken. As we walked through that war-torn land, no one said a word.
We are surveying Namai, waiting to see if there are any Imperial soldiers in this village. We cannot see any, therefore it is safe to enter the village. Gosetsu enters, asking for peace and knowledge. The villagers know who Gosetsu is. Instead of being relieved to see his return, they are instead afraid, panicked. They fear what the Imperials will do if they find Gosetsu in Namai. Will they think that they hid him away all this time? Nobody wants to give him the time of day. That is until a youth runs towards Gosetsu and tells him to follow him right now. We learn that the youth's name is Issei. They have only just started to have some semblance of peace. Now that Gosetsu showed up, it may break again. He tells us to leave Namai and never return. Instead, we are brought to the House of the Fierce, the headquarters of the Doman Liberation Front, a shinobi state hiding in a crevasse between a mountain. But their numbers are few, many remaining hiding. Others gave their lives for Doma. What stand before you now are those who are too stubborn to die. They may be a fraction of their strength, but they are no less patriotic towards their country. A familiar voice echoes throughout the cave. It is Yugiri. She arrived just now after completing her mission. Her mission was to find the young master, Lord Hien. But before she talks about that, she wants to know what brought us to Yanxia. We catch her up on everything we've done since we parted ways. How Zenos slaughtered our men at Rauga's Reach, and how we came here in search of allies to help us liberate Alamigo. We can prove that the Garleans can be stopped if we work together, just like we did in the Ruby Sea. Now back to her mission. Lord Hien, the son of the former leader, Lord Kaian. Just after the rebellion, Lord Hien vanished without a trace, after receiving a fatal wound. He was missing. Until now. Lord Hien resides in Azim Steppe. He is in perfect condition. The wound does not ail him anymore. Yugiri insisted that he return home. Instead he denied, and said, "If Doma yet thirsts for the blood of patriots and tyrants, I shall offer unto her my blade. But if she has had her fill of bitter draughts, I shall offer unto her conquerors my head." Yugiri tried to convince him otherwise, but he responded with, "Learn the truth of her heart, and return to me." Wise, yet somewhat foolish words. On one hand, it would be foolish to start a war nobody would fight. On the other hand, to give up and surrender would mean all of this fighting was for nothing. Ignoring Issei's plea, we returned to Namai, only because we spotted the Imperials marching towards the village. They ordered the villagers to form a line. As a consequence for our victory in the Ruby Sea, they will be taking villagers to complete rudimentary tasks, such as cleaning and maintenance. Once they are no longer needed, they can return home. The villagers are being forced to break their community, splitting families apart. Issei is one of the chosen, and has to leave his little sister behind. We cannot allow the Garleans to just take the people hostage like this. Who knows what may happen to them whilst they are here? We must follow the men to figure out where they will be taking them to. We use Yugiri's blow dart to put guards to sleep as we edge ever closer to our destination. We overhear the conversation between the villagers and the Pilus. They are taken here to repair and maintain Magitech machines and devices, something the villagers have no idea how to do. Essentially, they have been placed in a life sentence that they can't escape from. Using the Imperial armor from the sleeping guards from earlier, we sneak into the facility. We relieve the nearby guards of their posts and attempt to recover these people from the Imperials. They are free to return home, but they are hesitant, afraid. The people have lost their will to fight. their will to live. After so many years under the Garlean's thumb, the people are afraid to do anything that will bring the Empire's ire. Unlike Ugiri, the people are just civilians, untrained, lost and afraid. They hate living like this but are unable to change it. It's a pathetic existence, but it's all they've got. They have so many scars and have lost too much. Their friends and families are gone. Those who are left are forced to bend their knee, to surrender their souls and dignity. The shame of their existence weighs on them. Ugiri's courage is like salt to their wounds. Ugiri understands how the people feel. Their plight is clear, but remember this: they are still alive. She swears by all the kami in existence to free them. Seeing as they have been set free, the villagers may as well return home. They will tell the Garleans whatever they have to tell them to keep their loved ones alive. Ugiri is at a loss for words after such an encounter with the people. We deposit all the sleeping Imperials back where we took them from, but Ugiri is nowhere to be found, until we locate her looking towards a lake. She apologizes for making us have to find her. She comes to the water because the sound calms her. It reminds her of her home, Suino Sato. We met her parents down there too. The knowledge of their well-being brings her comfort. She left her home to become a shinobi. She trained endlessly to defend the land from the Empire. Her skills were noted. It was there that she met Lord Kaien and his son, along with Gosetsu. They were good men. She was proud to serve them, but she still yearned to return to the sea. She prayed every day hoping that they would avoid the conflict of the war. She told Lord Hien this once. He responded with, "We are better for the conviction of our allies and draw inspiration from their example. What is weak alone may together grow stronger." She never lost faith in them, until she saw the villagers. Their eyes were empty, devoid of hope. Seeing as her resolve is shaking, we try to comfort her. Together we are strong, so we must carry on. That we remain resolute in these times makes her resolve to do the same. Our conversation is interrupted when we spot an Imperial airship heading straight for Doma Castle. We should return to our allies in the House of the Fierce. In House of the Fierce, the people are running around like mad. Do they know who is in that airship? Gosetsu states that Zenos has come to Doma to assess the situation for himself. Ugiri is eager to kill Zenos, but she shouldn't underestimate his strength. He bested all of the Scions single-handedly. To face him without a plan is to sign your death warrant. Ugiri knows of his strength, but she won't face him on the battlefield. Instead, she will fight from the shadows, where the shinobi's strength lies. Even though Lord Hien said those words to Ugiri, she won't just let this opportunity slip by. Even if it will spell doom for all of Doma, she cannot forsake the people. She storms off, leaving for Zenos. Our task is to follow Ugiri, so she doesn't end up getting herself killed. We perch ourselves atop a roof until Zenos is in plain sight. Ugiri readies herself for an attack. She attacks from the shadows, taking out 2 of the guards in complete silence. She then tries to go for Zenos, but he blocks her attack with his blade. We appear on the other side and defeat an Imperial soldier. Zenos wants to test the new blade Yotsuyu took from the Red Kojin, but do we have the right to have it used on us? We both rush towards Zenos to start a battle. Again, he puts on an impressive display of strength, but we do manage to do some damage. That is until he draws the new sword that pushes his strength over the edge. We are yet again beaten by Zenos. Ugiri is unconscious. He readies the new blade to finish us off. Just before he delivers the blow, a part of his helmet breaks off, which was caused from the battle we just had. He is happy to see that he was right in sparing our life. He wants us to endure, survive, live, for the rush of the blood, for the sole pleasure left to him in this empty, ephemeral world. Live. Ugiri has regained consciousness and attempts to attack Zenos, but is sent flying with a single slash. He calls her unworthy, walking towards her, going for the kill, but his path is stopped by a stray arrow. The arrow was fired by Issei. The people of Namai have come to save us. Yugiri tells them to flee, but they are tired of running. All they've done is run, but no more. Yugiri's words have reminded them of all the times they have held their tongue. They cannot live with this shame anymore, so they've decided to come. For Doma. They are untrained, wielding trade tools as if they were weapons made for war. They are determined to die, so Zenos will grant them their wish. Just before he can slaughter them, Gosetsu and Alize throw a smoke bomb towards the floor, allowing us to escape the battlefield. With the battle over, we return to Namai. The villagers worry about Yugiri's condition. They will do anything we ask of them. The fight has truly returned in their eyes. Yugiri apologizes. After everything she was feeling, with her reminiscing about the past and wanting to hold on to dreams, she ended up clouding her own judgment, causing her to charge headfirst into Zenos with reckless abandon. She even went back on her master's words. Do not fret too much on it. Her reckless abandon has served as inspiration for the people of Yanxia, meaning that Doma's heart may yet yearn for freedom. Lys and Alphino were looking for us. He was the one who came up with the plan to rescue us, because the plot Yugiri tried was almost guaranteed to fail. Lys had to stay behind, because she most likely would have done the same thing as Yugiri and attacked Zenos without thinking. Now that we have attacked the Imperials head-on, they now know that we are helping the Domans. It is only a matter of time before the Empire tries to retaliate for what we did. What do we do now? We cannot look towards the Alliance for aid. It would take too much time to bring them here, and it would not go unnoticed. Doma is currently unguarded. Most of the Imperial forces have been withdrawn. An attack on Doma Castle by the Doman Liberation Front may be enough to take control of the castle itself. Therefore, it is time to meet Lord Hien, to have him inspire the people to rise up once more. He wanted proof of their desire for freedom. The people attacked Zenos himself. There is no better time to do so. Let us move onward to Azim's steps. We see Zenos looking outward from Doma Castle. He expected no less from Bahamut's conqueror. He will take an airship back to Alamigo. The soldier leaves to ready an airship. Zenos walks towards a kneeling Yotsuyu and Grinwat. He grabs her by the hair, asking her why did he appoint her here. She was ordered to make an example of Doma. She will do her duty or die like the rest of them. He lets go of her hair as she collapses to the floor. Yotsuyu wants the warrior of light dead, our friends dead, the heads of everyone we know and love to be mounted on the castle walls. Grinwat is finally given permission to go after us, something he has been wanting to do this entire time. In the fringes of Girabania, a dragoon is looking towards a gigantic pit, a pit that may be holding Shinryu. This individual is Estinian. If this truly is the work of the eyes of Nidhogg, then what choice does he have but to end it?